Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is LinkedIn Live, part one of four for the life insurance series. So, this is going to be designed for essentially the owners of the pass through entities. So, people that own LLCs or S Corps. And so, today is going to be essentially going to give you a taste of the menu of why life insurance is important in your portfolio, how it can help you, the business, and your community. So, what we're going to do today is within the next 15 minutes, I have about time to cover. First off, is highlight the impact of the small business in the community, why the small business is very important. Secondly, overviewing why life insurance is important in your portfolio. And then last but not least, we're going to go over a concept which is called a key man insurance. And that's going to be the meat and potatoes of today's live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and start off with the impact of small businesses in the community. So let me take you to this article here. So this here is a piece from Cornell U. This is going to be from their Johnson College of Business. And so essentially the main point that I want to highlight in our first line item is that the small business is essentially the engine and the transmission behind the economy and healthy communities. And the main thing to highlight about that is that only 40% of all small businesses will make it to the second generation. And so, from a personal note, what really stands out to me when I've worked with owners of LLCs in particular is that I'll highlight this quote here. Successful family firms embrace a sense of stewardship and fiscal responsibility. And so to me, ethics is going to be of the utmost importance. So getting down to some meat and potatoes of the impact of small businesses in the community is that family-owned businesses make up about 20% of the Fortune 500 companies, which just means that they're going to be some of the highest revenue companies in the world. And this is quoted from McKinsey. And really getting to the bulk of this piece here is that there are over 5 million family-owned businesses in America, and they contribute 57% of the GDP, right? And so one way to think of GDP is simply the measurement of the wealth of a nation, right? And so in dollars and cents, that's $8.3 trillion. And something else to really, I guess, hone in on a small business's impact in the community is that the small businesses employ 63% of the workforce and are responsible for 78% of all new job creation. So, essentially, by being an owner, you are the mover and shaker in this country and even in the world. So, there is you have weight on your shoulders. And so, pretty much going down to this next point is that I want to highlight 35% of the Fortune 500 companies are family owned. So, just to kind of recap this first part is that the small businesses make up the largest impact today, not just in America, but also in the world. And these are mainly family owned businesses. And so, if you've spoken with me in the past, you'll know that one of the things that I believe is that family is the most important thing in life. Um, and this kind of drives me to the next point that I want to make about moving on to the overview of why life insurance is crucial in a small business. So this right here, zoom in for you, is going to be a piece done by Forbes. So getting down to the main two things I want to highlight here about why life insurance is important in a small business is that, I'll read this for you here, is that even banks and corporations buy mutual policies. So essentially, you want to mirror what the top players are doing. And so, continuing on from the article, one of the lesser known aspects of mutual insurance is that major corporations and banks buy policies on the lives of their employees and use a cash value to fund employee benefits as a safe harbor for working capital. By some estimates, Fortune 500 companies and large banks have policies covering some 5 million employees. Instead of doing what banks say, put your money in our CDs at low rates so we can turn around and lend your money out at a profit to us, do what banks do. So what that part is just saying is that you can mirror what some of the top dogs in business are doing. But one thing to note is that life insurance is not the end all be all. So life insurance is simply one leg of the money stool. And so I'll just read this first point here. Investing should be approached as a 3-legged stool. One leg is the money you need to live on in the near future. One leg is the money you invest for the long-term growth, aka equities. And one leg is the financial bunker you can retreat to when the rest of the world is falling apart and you can't sleep. So that's going to be the life insurance, right? And this last point, mutual whole life got us through the Great Depression. So we've covered the impact that small businesses make in the community and to their families. And then we've covered why, essentially, whole life or just life insurance in general is important, because the banks and corporations buy life insurance. So getting on to the meat and potatoes of today is going to be a case study. And so this is actually on LinkedIn, funny enough. So let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. So the topic we're going to cover today within the next 7 minutes is something called key man insurance. And so reading what this is that what exactly is a key person? So a key person in a business is anyone within the company with significant skills, experience, knowledge, leadership, or contacts that contribute to the success of the company. This could include, but not limited to, owners, directors, specialists, and top salespeople. So that just means someone who's moving the needle within the company. Think of it like a Steve Jobs and Wozniak kind of a combo. So one person has, I guess, a part to play, but that's meaningful. So here's going to be a bird's eye view of what this looks like. Let me zoom out a little bit. The business pays what's called the premium. They purchase the life insurance policy on the employee, and there's what's called a death benefit. Now you're probably wondering, how does this all make sense? Why does it matter? So I'm going to get to the next point in a bit. And so I'm going to show you how some of the top Fortune 500 companies have leveraged life insurance in the past. So to put this in perspective, I want to highlight this point here. So this is a company called Winn-Dixie, and I'll read this straight to you. Winn-Dixie had 36,000 policies in force at one time. And this is what was called janitor insurance, or insurance on people that are not key persons. So to kind of think of the impact that could have on a company. So let's take out the calculator. Let's say each policy was worth, just say $500,000. So we'll do 36,000 people times $500,000. So if my math is right, that's 18 billion USD. What could your business, your family, your community do with $18 billion? You could raise a much more productive family, a healthier family. You can contribute to your, religious organizations, church, temples, synagogues, things of that sort. This is what the major players have done. So this is just some quick stats on other companies that have used life insurance in the past. And so the main thing is that the only thing that's for certain in life is death and taxes, right? So we look at these 4 companies listed here: AT&T, Procter & Gamble, Walt Disney, and Dow Chemical. So if they are purchasing these policies, they're doing it for a reason, right? So it's not just about someone passing away and them collecting a check that's tax-free, that I might mention. It's also because within permanent plans, there are what's called guaranteed cash value growth that is also exempt from taxes. So these major companies are just leveraging the cash value to fund a lot of their what's called, in some cases, defined benefit. Just think of it as like a retirement plan, defined benefit plans, and also just having cash on the balance sheet. So we're kind of down to the last minute and a half of the of the live stream for the show. So I pretty much just want to highlight that in order to be successful, from my opinion and from the articles that I've read, is that you kind of want to stand on the shoulders of giants. So Walmart is a giant, right? They're one of the top companies year over year on the Fortune 500 list. And so they leveraged 335,000 life insurance policies. They placed those policies into a trust and named themselves as a beneficiary. I mean, that's got to be the holy grail of life insurance. So our time is up for the day. So I'll stop sharing my screen here. So I appreciate everyone for coming out today. This video is streamed to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we'll leave the links there for you to go back and watch the replay. So if you have any questions, or if you want to learn more about the benefits of life insurance, you can tune in next week to part 2 of the series, where we'll go into a deeper dive into life insurance for business owners. Or and or you can send me a private message on LinkedIn. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care and have a good one.